If you're new in town or just new to this whole podcast thing, you're tuning in to Law by Night, the podcast that discusses all things vampiric with no fear of breaching the Masquerade. In this episode, we begin to unravel the mysteries surrounding the 5 lunar auspices the Garou are born and experience their first change in Werewolf the Apocalypse. This episode shall focus on the Ragabash Auspice.
You were born under a particular sign of the moon, as was your first change. Depending on who in the nation you ask, the moon in which you experienced your first change or were born defined your auspice. You have always felt the comfort of Luna, sister of Gaia, and valued her guidance, whether she shines fully on you or hides in darkness. The term auspice holds many meanings for the Garou. It encompasses their personality traits, attitudes, interests, and pack duties. Each auspice is significant and essential, as no werewolf can fulfill all roles. When a pack includes diverse auspices, it becomes stronger as a collective. Moreover, the inner rage of a werewolf also depends on their auspice. When young werewolves begin their training, they study with an elder of the same auspice to learn specific gifts and their roles in werewolf society. Your auspice is an obligation, not social groupings fit with stereotypes. Your ties to Luna are just as important to your loyalty to your pack and sept totem or patron. She defines your rage and reaffirms your place in the universe. It is the literal embodiment of the Garou continual change in existence. Auspices are mystical and spiritual, interwoven into your psychological makeup. Your duties to her are both formal and liberating, a profession and a mindset. There is nothing in the natural world that can be compared to it. Your auspice is as much as you are to it. Ragabash Garou are born under the new moon. They are known for their wit, cleverness, and their ability to see beyond the surface of things. Ragabash Garou are considered tricksters and questioners of the old ways, and they use their humor and quick thinking to bring about change and expose hypocrisy. They serve as a reminder to their fellow Garou to question traditions and beliefs, to think critically, to never become complacent. I would usually follow this with a detailed history lesson, but that is something I could not provide with the Ragabash cub. The first Ragabash is a credit to Akin, I believe is the pronunciation, who you will learn more about during our eventual chat on the Black Furies. Gaia and Luna bestowed the Ragabash Auspice upon those to provide change to a flawless world, to test its resolve, and to provide levity to our serious work. From my observations, the Ragabash of the waxing moon, the day after the new moon, are known for their cheerful and light-hearted demeanors and are often using humor to lighten the mood. On the other hand, those of the waning moon, 24 hours before the new moon, are a darker sort and are obsessed with shadows, secrets, and doom. The Ragabash are the auspices with the least rage, even less than the Theurges considered to be so cool and calm. Rage is a detriment for a Ragabash who wants to excel in their role, unlike other werewolves. Fortunately, they don't have much of it to begin with. Even after the change, a new Ragabash doesn't feel the same amount of rage in their heart as their Arun or Philodox siblings. For this reason, they don't typically try to embrace their rage. However, rage can be useful in emergencies when their cleverness has put them in a difficult position. As such, most Ragabash see rage as an ace in the hole rather than the first tool in the toolbox. Rage is loud and overt, whereas New Moon prizes lateral thinking and quick wits. Giving into a rage-fueled frenzy could cause everything they have built to come crashing down. Their role is the trickster, imparting lessons through their pranks that could be far from pleasant in such a violent race as the Garou. Just as important is their ability to act as a voice of dissent or devil's advocate with far less of punishment from the Garou or other auspices. In a society as traditional and conservative as that of the Garou Nation, a free-thinking individual with the right to speak his or her or their mind is absolutely important, whether to encourage change or to reaffirm confirm the current position through the challenges they provide. They're often known for their skills in scouting and assassination due to their association with the hidden moon, which signifies secrecy and stealth. Their role within the pack is to offer a different perspective and help their packmates find their target or escape from their pursuers. They also have a talent for using humor to diffuse tense situations or conflicts, often acting as the Omega to take the attention away from others. Unlike other Garou, the Ragabash are not associated with a specific type of renown and can rise in rank through a combination of the three types. However, they require more renown to advance and find it harder to earn it as a result. The expression of Jack of Trades but Master of None rings true here. The other Garou are wary of the Tricksters and assume their accomplishments are motivated by ulterior motives. They are not typically given important positions within the set as they are not considered trustworthy. However, they may serve a purpose during a moot by challenging the set's traditions at key points, which can either unite or enlighten the other members. It would, however, be most unwise to treat the New Moon Tricksters as harlequins of the set, for there is much wisdom to be learned from overcoming deception or failing from it entirely, for they are the question of the ways that break the mold, playing devil's advocate, as I said moments ago. They must always be a reason for it, rather than just for the sake of it, letting their pack elder or whoever's ideas, ruling command, etc. are being questioned to see all sides of an argument so that the right option can be taken, not just the obvious one. It is the lack of understanding that young cubs believe the Krynosborn were born for this, for they are natural rule breakers by existence. But the role of Ragabash is not to break rules without impunity, which, again, the Krynosborn are by existence. Some loopers born under the dark of the moon strongly believe in the flexibility of the pack. A Ragabash lupus may leave the pack before completing their first year, if they can. Wolves are naturally curious creatures, and the young lupus deserves answers to their questions, even if they do not require a reason for everything. Those who choose to stay may challenge their alphas, even if they were captive-born. It is ironic that if a pre-changed lupus takes over their wolf pack, chances are they were born under the new moon. Once they become a Garou, they rarely hold back out of respect for the hierarchy. While Homid and Krynosborn Ragabash may eventually learn to do the same, being born with rigid social structures means they must learn that some challenges are acceptable. A wild-born lupus, however, steps into a set as a natural questioner. Their packmates allowed them to question and challenge them even as a pup. If the wolves can't answer their questions, they are allowed to leave and find questions on their own. Captive Ragabash are even more insistent with their questions. Raised where they cannot leave their packs and where their challenges are met with fights for authority, the lupus learn to fight for their right to ask questions. They are less accepting of "because I said so" than the normal lupus. They insist on the answers, and they will challenge this until they get them or until they are forcibly subdued. But if they are subdued, they are not above questioning their alpha's ability to lead if they can't provide clear answers to their questions. To some, this would imply that the Ragabash do not hold important official positions within the set, and they absolutely do. There is always bound to be a new moon within the Council of Elders, and will often serve as a warder to an Arun, the eyes and ears of their patrols. They fill the role of gatekeeper well, just because of their natural sociable way, but on a more of a referee to the Philadelphics' judging in a pack, as well as the teaching and reminding those who fall and what their stories should teach us. A strange and possibly harrowing fact is that there is not as many Ragabash being born, which some have interpreted as another sign of the coming apocalypse, assuming we are not living through it already. The reason is practically unknown, as the face of Lunar has not changed as much as there were fewer new moons, but one can hypothesize that the value of the Trickster is not as important as it once was. Mind you, there is always some laughter and curious intrigue when the birth of one is announced or discovered. A Ragabash who has undergone their first change is likely to be equally curious as they are terrified by the metamorphosis. It is an exercise of testing the new senses and abilities, and are often the quickest to adapt of what they are. It is these explorations of the senses and skills that would be the focus of a cub's rite of passage too, but all of that needs training. Without discipline to fashion them into our ways, they can be the most difficult to clean up afterwards. Teaching is all practical through life itself. This extends into the Umbran spirits, who care capricious in nature and generally more understanding of the Ragabash. They see them for who and what they are, not to deny their natures when the other moons have a habit of rolling their eyes at things they do not understand. It would not surprise the new moons talk. A lot. Some would say too much, but the spirits like attention, almost as much as the attention they receive from the crescent moons, the Theurges. To that end, the Theurges understand the Ragabash the most, as they are the closest to the new moon and they appreciate the wisdom a Ragabash can bring. However, as the Theurge often has their heads engaged with the Umbra, it is the Ragabash that is the most likely soul to bring them back to Earth, as it were. As mentioned not too long ago, the Ragabash balance the Philodox to get them to listen to their pack and reason through different means, depending on the situation, pack, and sept in question. This, of course, can lead to conflict, verbal and physical, but it is apparent that no Philodox would lead as well without a Ragabash providing advice. Similarly, a trickster cannot bend minds and conceptions without information to go off, meaning that they must pay attention to the Galliards, even if it can be overwhelming, which are not my words. Just a general impression I found with other new moons. The Aruns, however, are on the opposite side. They are the full moon, the Ragabash, the new moon, or is it a cyclical scale rather than a linear one? The Garou are hunters and warriors, and the Arun are this personified, so what can one teach here? Well, consider the Ragabash a voice of reason to quell their rage, taking in some of their wisdom to their angry hearts, serving as the dark to the Arun's light. Many try to understand the Ragabash, including myself, and we all fail, but it is their title, Questioner of Ways, that truly defines them, far more than calling them tricksters and riddlers. Serving as Questioner of the Ways gives the Ragabash a lot of freedom among the Garou nation. They can use humor, mockery, and satire to challenge those who hold power, but to strengthen the nation's position, not weaken it. It is something that is learnt over time, as is the art of reading people, so one knows how far to push and pull the pupil. The Ragabash must know their limits. The overused American and/or right-wing chant of freedom of speech does not mean free of consequence. You are a fucking idiot if you are so attached to this privileged misunderstanding. If you chat shit, expect to be hit back. But if you don't have anything to worry about. The role of the Ragabash is not to play dumb and childish, but to be smart and educate, provoke, and postulate.
To be kept updated, follow the Law by Night VTM Instagram and Blue Sky pages to find out when we upload each episode. You can also find out by subscribing to the YouTube channel and clicking on the little bell, as you'll be immediately notified when the latest episode is live. Until next time, farewell.